Welcome to the Y'all Need Music podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
our studio dancer.
He was trying to start it too early. I didn't have my ball cap on, and I was getting all
Had to get your jazz hands
ready.
out and everything.
Yup. So for you guys that caught the last podcast,
we're back again.
We're back again, but we are wearing the same attire because we did record these back to back. Because this is a recap of CMA Fest that we were at last week. And if we were to record this episode in a week from now, I would even be more discombobulated than I was on the first episode of.
And if we made it one whole episode, it would be like 2 hours long and people would check out.
Yeah. So we decided to split it up to kind of give you a little bits, pieces here and there. But yeah, if you guys watched the first episode, CMAs, we went down there. CMA Fest, actually, it goes Thursday through Sunday is the actual CMA Fest. But we went on Sunday and got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of just phenomenal stuff that, most people that go for CMA Fest show up on Thursday morning. I mean, shoot, when we first went downtown, I saw all kinds of people rolling their suitcases. They were just getting off their plane and stuff like that. And I'm like, one, the festival already started. And two, you guys missed 3 days of just bomb freaking concerts and meets and just cool stuff. So,
yeah. And so we're not going to tell you about that on this episode for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have to watch CMA Recap 1 and watch that episode if you'd like to know. Hopefully you've already watched that and you're hanging on like cliffhanger style to hear what else we did.
Yeah, who else we saw, what else we did, what kind of shenanigans we pulled. And you're going to be the first ones to point out that we're wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Matt's rocking the same Gavin Adcock merch, and I'm rocking the same little squirrel from Buc-ee's. Oh, yeah, it's a beaver.
Some people you just can't help.
With these big old teeth. Yeah, but I got the tall boy koozie instead of just a regular koozie because all these music festivals that we go to, most of the time they have tall boys because they feel bad if they were selling you a $18 12-ounce can. So they're like, okay, we'll give you a tall boy for $19.
We'll give you 16 ounces. And
Right. So
yeah, we're going to kick this thing off with Thursday, which was the official start of CMA Fest. And the morning started out, Carl and I jumped ship first and headed over to Fanfare X to do a meet and greet with Scotty McCreery. And
tell them what Fanfare X is.
Fanfare X is a very cool part of CMA Fest at the Music City Center where there's vendors and different labels and everyone has booths and artists come through and do meet and greets and sign autographs, pictures, the works. And it goes on literally from Thursday to Sunday from like 10 a.m. to like, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m. every day. So,
and at any given time, there's probably 8 to 10 artists that are doing meet and greets. There's 2 separate stages that somebody's playing on here, and they might be doing a writer's round over here or a performance. Or we saw Jelly Roll a couple of years ago do a podcast. We saw Reba like talking about her cookbook the one time. So plus then all the different vendors, that are giving away stuff, raffles,
selling stuff. You could have
merch.
You could have bought Jelly Roll's clothes if you wanted to there.
Yeah. Sarah and Tasha tried on a bunch of Jelly's old clothes before he lost all the weight and got their pictures. Miranda Lambert had a booth set up there that she was selling a bunch of her like outfits that she wore like for certain concerts and stuff. So super cool.
And Reba had a mock set for Happy's place there, as well as a voice chair.
Yo,
So a lot of cool stuff. And so Carl and I went over there to uh, meet up with Scotty McCreery, uh, get some autographs and whatnot. And so we did that and left everyone else behind.
did
I
you
think
take a bottle of cab with you?
no, brought a solo cup.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you drink cab
in a solo.
in a solo in the cab of his truck?
Mm-hmm.
Did he
We
have his
did.
truck there?
No,
No.
no.
2 years ago when we went, Bailey Zimmerman had his big old jacked up truck that Matt and I got, which you never posted that on the. I don't think you ever posted that on our
I
socials.
I don't know what happened to that picture. It was one of those weird ones that they like text you
Email,
a
yeah, or
link or
text,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll have to do some digging and see if I can find that one.
yeah. So
But
before we dig too deep into it, I just wanted to throw this out there for people that haven't been to CMA Fest. Um, so 2 years ago, when Matt and I and the girls went, a couple of other our friends, um, we did the whole kit and caboodle where CMA Fest is a 4-day festival right downtown Nashville. They set up all kinds of stages. What are there, like 5 or 6 stages throughout Broadway ish area?
yeah, I think
Um,
there's 7 or 8 total, counting the two in Music City Center.
Okay. So those are all the ones that are set up in Nashville. Those are free to go to. So you don't have to pay for anything. If you want to go into the fanfare at Music City Center, you have to buy, I think the 4-day pass
Yeah,
was like 23
26
bucks,
bucks.
26 bucks. So last time when we went, we did the Nissan shows because then every night starting at 8 o'clock, there's like 7 to 10 headliners that play at Nissan Stadium,
Yep.
60,000 some people there. We did that the first time for the 50 year. This time we opted to just hit all the free shows. One, because majority of the people that were at Nissan, I mean, if you guys have followed the podcast, Matt and I have pretty much gone to every single person that played there and
Yeah.
seen them in concert. And it's just a massive amount of people. And this year we got to take our friends, Damn It Dan went with us, Carl went with us, and then our number one Y'all Need Music podcast fan, Sarah May, got to go with us this year as well. So we opted to do all the free shows because they do have bigger name stars that play at a lot of these free shows, but they also have a lot of up and comers that are just hitting country music that play at all these stages and stuff like that. So with us being the podcast and already seeing a bunch of the stadium shows and doing that, we decided to put our focus and attention into some of these up and comers, so that way, you know, we've featured a lot of them on the podcast as far as new artist spotlights, or have just talked about them. So I thought it was kind of cool that we did that this year as opposed to doing the Nissan,
Yeah.
um, just because if you watched the last podcast, I kind of talked about how there's just so much going on and a lot of stuff overlaps and everything like that. So yeah, Carl and Matt decided to go early to go to Scotty McCreery. We opted to catch a later ride to make sure that we got into the stage for our first performer and made sure we got seats and everything like that. But you guys were already finished up by the time, you know, but we just wanted to make sure we got right up front to the stage to make sure that Matt and Carl could just walk right in and come find us. But we ended up, you guys wrapped up a little bit early.
Yeah. So just for an idea here, for the stadium shows, there is 3, 4,
Matt's trying to do math right now. It might take a minute.
4 artists total across those 4 days that I've not seen.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Right.
every other artist I've seen previously, and I
Right.
imagine it's pretty close to that for Jesse as well. At least
Yeah.
right in that ballpark anyway.
Right.
So these other up and comers that so many of them are absolutely incredible anyway. You're
Right.
not to take anything away from those stadium artists because they're great artists too,
Yeah.
but uh you're not really missing out by doing the daytime shows and some of the other add-on stuff, right?
Yeah.
Perfect example though would be like Lainey was not on the schedule to perform at Nissan, but she did do a free show at Old Red as
Yeah.
part of Spotify House. So
Spotify House. Right.
there's a ton of shows to see incredible artists and not pay for the stadium ticket.
Right. Well, yeah, and just not just those 7 stages or whatever that was set up. I, forgot to mention that every bar on Broadway
Right.
has all 5 to 6 floors of them has artists performing, mainly like Spotify House. I think Eric Church at Chiefs had a bunch of people. A bunch
Yeah.
of these bigger name artist bars had some of
Losers
those
had
bigger.
some great lineups.
Yep, yep, and those are all shows that you can get in line and go into those bars. You don't pay a cover or anything, and you get to see those things. So that's what on the last episode we talked about Blake White in. We saw him on the Sky Deck, and then Warren Zeiders played a little bit later. So some bigger names that are playing that you don't have to pay for to go see.
Yeah. So back on track for Thursday morning after Carl and I went over to Fanfare. We all
Did
linked
he
up.
play over there, Scotty McCreery,
No,
or was it just a meet and greet?
just a meet and greet.
Okay.
And so we met up with you guys outside
Yep.
and we made our way over to the Good Molecules reverb stage for an
For
absolutely incredible show. I guess I could have changed hats and rocked the May Estes hat.
I just walked into the house in between these podcasts, and Tasha was rocking hers while she's doing some gardening and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
we should have done
nice.
that. Poor
Yep.
planning on our part. But yeah, May Estes kicked off our Thursday and really kicked off our
Yes.
CMA Fest
Yeah.
with an incredible set. She's another one that we've seen a bunch of times. And, just like we talked about in the previous episode with Waylon Hannell getting better every time, May just keeps
Yeah.
getting better and better every time we see her.
Better and better.
And the
It's
first time
just
we
like,
saw her open for Jackson Dean, she was absolutely incredible. So
right.
how do you put on an incredible performance and then continue to get better is mind-boggling, but she's doing it.
Somehow she did it. Yeah. She's, yeah. You guys have heard us talk about May Estes. If you watch this podcast at all, Matt pretty much probably drops her name in at least every episode, or if not every other. I do as well, though. But yeah, she's just an incredible person. She picked us out right there in the crowd. The girls were wearing their hats. She knew exactly, and was like just dumbfounded that many people showed up to see her, and that
were already fans of hers.
Yeah, that were already fans of hers. Tasha and Megan both had the hats on. And then there was a few other people in the crowd that had May Estes hats on too. And she was like, I can't believe I'm seeing May Estes hats out here. Like, this is just crazy. So, yeah, just absolutely phenomenal. She's great. Hopefully one of these days we'll get her on here to chat with her about her incredible journey that she's on. But if you guys haven't checked May out, you are missing out if you haven't seen her. With what I talked about earlier about our number one podcast fan, or right there, with Carl and that, as far as interaction and jumping on our lives and commenting and sharing the Y'all Need Music podcast, Sarah May. We took her down there with us to experience CMA. she found May Estes through us and has absolutely fallen in love with her, and was I tried to get video of it. She was standing right next to me, and I mean, May was up there just killing it, like she does. And Sarah was over there. She's doing one of these, like oh my god, like she was like kind of dumbfounded, like she knew she was going to be great, but I think she kind of blew Sarah away on like how good she really was.
Yeah.
So that was super cool to see. Obviously we love seeing May, and we love that she's getting better and better. But to see someone like that we turned on to May Estes, and then
Yeah.
to see that reaction on her face, and doing one of these, I was just like, hell yeah, like this is why we do this podcast, not just because we love music and everything. We want to share all these up and comers with you guys, and get you out there and listen to these people, not just what you hear on the radio.
Right.
These huge artists, not take anything away from them. They started low and busted their butt to get where they are. Not taking anything away from them, but
And
we
that's
like
where
to
these people
highlight.
are going to be, though. I mean, these people
Yeah.
that,
Oh
that we're
yeah.
highlighting, that's where they're going to be.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
we said that from the get go with May, and she's living it daily, touring
Yeah.
with some of the biggest names in country music, like
Absolutely.
Brad Paisley. Right now, she's doing shows. I think she's got some shows with Luke Bryan later this year too. So
Yep.
she's definitely out there with the movers and shakers, and she's going to be headlining her own stuff in no time.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah. So we went from May over to the Chevy Vibe stage
Yep.
for a guy that I've been following now for like 6 years. Uh,
Yeah,
and
you turned me on to him. I had no clue until you introduced me to him, and
yeah,
glad
and
glad you did.
yeah, I've been a fan of this guy since he had less than 1,000 followers. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's so cool to kind of be in on the ground level of that stuff.
Right.
And that's Dylan Carmichael, and Dylan Carmichael is another incredible artist that's been grinding it out for a number of years, and he's seeing his day too, with
Yep.
getting some songs on the radio. He's been touring with Cody Johnson and
Mm-hmm.
other big names himself, and the guy comes from a music family. So
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
kind
you've been following him so long that
of
when you used
he
to
had short
comment on
hair.
his videos. Yeah. Yeah. But you used to comment on his videos and stuff like that, and you uh, have been in communication with his dad, as far as like his dad has commented and followed you and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and you guys have talked and stuff like that.
Oh, I
I
sent
think
his
you
dad.
actually.
I sent his dad pictures and video from his
Yep.
performance. I did the same thing with May and her mom.
That's
Uh,
right. You've met
and
May's mom and sent her, and
and Dylan
so.
follows us on TikTok. He's a
Yep.
number of we've got several artists that follow us that we've interacted with over the years that
Yep.
are showing us some love and support, just like we've done with them in their careers. And I absolutely love that, and don't ever take any of that for granted.
Oh hell
Um,
no.
and
What's great about Dylan Carmichael? That was the first time that I've seen him live. Like the dude had a smile on his face, and he's a bigger dude, long hair, beard.
yeah,
And if you guys know anything about Nashville, especially the beginning of June, it was about 90 degrees, but downtown Nashville with big skyscrapers and bars and everything, and then on the pavement, it felt like about 110. So
yeah,
I'm dripping, sweating as normal. So was everybody else. But he's up on stage, and I could tell. And he's wearing full flannel shirt, jeans, boots. I'm like, you could tell that he was probably miserable up there, but just had a smile on his face the whole time. Like from talking to singing, like I don't think I've ever seen somebody smile so much while they're just out there just rocking. So that was
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. Well,
Glad I got to see him.
yeah, it was a great performance as always by Dylan Carmichael for sure. And yeah, I think I've seen him 4 times ish, maybe five in concert. And
Okay.
I'll certainly see him again.
Yeah.
But after, and not to take anything away from either of those two performances on Thursday, but after Dylan Carmichael, Megan and I headed over to Fanfare, and you peeled off and went over to Riverfront, correct?
Yep, we went to the Riverfront to get some seats. Riverfront stage at CMA Fest for the free stages. It's right on the river. Straight across is Nissan Stadium, but that's the stage that they put
kind of the bigger names on.
The bigger names that are still playing the free shows, and
Yeah.
we'll get to it. The person that we wanted to see, I wanted to make sure, because of all the stages, the Riverfront is the one that, shuts down
Most frequently.
they get capacity on the first day. Megan Maroney, it was shut down. She opened at like 11 o'clock or something, and they were at
10:30
capacity.
It was closed.
Yeah, by 10:30 they were already at capacity and weren't letting anybody else in. So
yeah,
I wanted to make sure I got over there. So we went over to the Riverfront when you guys went up and to Fanfare.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, that was one of the coolest. There was a couple of really cool experiences, in the Fanfare portion, not really music related, and we went over to see Megan Patrick, and if you're not tuned in to Megan Patrick, again, you're asleep at the wheel. She's incredible, and we actually talked about
on our
the
Next Women of Country. She's CMA or CMT Next Women of Country for this year, one of the members. So
right, and
which we've been following her for a while because we're big fans of Mitchell Tenpenny, which she's married to.
Yep, and even if she wasn't, she's incredible. And we talked about her on that episode and of the Next Women of Country, and put out a clip talking about her, which she actually shared to her story at the time on Instagram, and commented on, which was cool then. But when Megan and I met her, she's like, "You look familiar," and I said, "Well, me and my buddy got a podcast, and we had talked about you with the Next Women of Country." And she was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And I was like, "You don't got to thank me. Like, everything we said was true. Like,
right.
It's not like,
and thank you for sharing." Like,
right. And she said, "Listen, you have no idea." She's like, "I was having a horrible week, absolutely horrible week. And that clip like turned it around for me." And I was like, "Oh, whoa. Shit." Like, wow. It literally kind of stopped me in my tracks.
Right. We're just a couple idiots sitting here bullshitting, talking about country music, and for somebody to,
and the music that we like, and never did it cross my mind, that us talking about an artist would reach them, for one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Them. Yeah.
That's a whole issue in and of itself. But then two, to actually have an impact on them. It's never anything we set out to do. It was one of those things that just happened, and it was natural. And I think that's what made it so special, that she, acknowledged that and shared that with Megan and I. And it was like, damn, like, maybe we're doing something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
That we're not even trying to do, but we're still doing something.
Right.
And probably one of the top highlights of the week for me.
Yeah.
Just getting that acknowledgement that not only she seen it, but that was how many months ago, and she still remembers it.
February,
you know what I mean?
I think. Yeah.
Like, honestly, do you remember our podcast a few months ago?
Not really.
Right. Do you remember the podcast we did a half hour ago?
We did a podcast. We did a podcast.
So, hopefully I can make a clip of this. Megan, if you see this, Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That meant the world. I wish Jesse could have been there for it. Uh,
Yeah.
and when I told him, he was like, "What?" He was definitely bummed that he opted to
Hell
go
yeah.
snag us seats while Megan and I went to go meet Megan Patrick. And so
Well,
yeah,
yeah, because I would have 100% rather have done that than the show that we saw, waiting for the lead up to what we really wanted to see. Um,
that's not nice.
not that not that I'm just saying, not that it was a bad show, and I absolutely, it was a great show, but to get that kind of interaction and stuff. So
I swear to you, you know what I'm going to do the next time we go to CMA Fest?
what's that?
I'm wearing a freaking GoPro vest and I'm recording all of these interactions because I had another one, that we'll get to later, that was also very cool,
Right,
that you missed out on as well.
right,
Um, and afterwards, I'm thinking like, God, I would have loved to have had the footage of that. That would have been
right,
so cool to have.
right.
So that's going to be a purchase, is one of them like GoPro like bodysuit vest things.
I
Uh,
got one. I
I think
got one.
yeah, you've said
Well,
before
it
that you
like
guys
clips.
have one.
It clips onto like your backpack. So our clear backpacks that we were wearing, it just like clips right around there, and you can just boop, turn it on when you want to turn it on, and so
Yeah,
yeah,
we need
super
we need to
cool.
do better.
Right.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
have been.
that was one thing. So if you guys didn't watch last episode, we kind of talked about it, how we brought, a bunch of our friends and stuff like that, people that have never been to, a couple of them never been to Nashville, a couple of them never been to well, most of them besides the four of us have never been to CMA Fest.
Yep.
Um, so with a group, we had 7 at one point, 9 at another point, and it was kind of like Matt and I have both been there, and like we were kind of the tour guides to everybody, and we talked about it. Like Matt said, there was some people had an agenda, like I really want to see this person, and I'm like, well, I've already seen this person, I'd rather see this person, and so we split a bunch,
Divide
and
and
it
conquer.
divide and conquer and try to get as much in as we can. And that was one of those things that it was like, you told me about that, but it was like we were kind of in the middle of a concert at the time, and then it was like, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to go with you, but then like we didn't even get to like then once we get back to the house and stuff like that, everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and like Matt and I didn't really get to like connect like we did on the first trip and like talk about everything and stuff like that, just because
Yeah.
CMA's is so busy. And it's like, all right, what's the plan for now? Like little recap on what he did and what I did and this and that. And so it was like, it was kind of weird. It was cool that we got to take, certain people to certain places and stuff, but that was one of those that I was like, damn it, man, like I wish I would have been there and
Yeah.
got to do it. And kind of like last time when we went, Lance and Angie, they were doing their own thing, and Tosh and Megan kind of like chilled at the hotel, and Matt and I would just kind of conquer the town and everything like that and do a
Yeah.
bunch of shit. So we didn't get to do that as much as we wanted to. But yeah, that's definitely something that I was bummed that I missed out on going and talking with her, because that's super cool that, like you
Yeah.
said, one, that she just shared it on her story, that it reached her, because we talk about a lot of artists on here and give a lot of people props and stuff, and a lot of times the artists themselves aren't actually running their media pages. They might have somebody else, and it's like sometimes it gets lost in the wash. But for one, for her to share that, but then for two, like for her to remember that was huge. But then three, like for it to actually like impact her life, we're like, wait, we're just a couple Michigan boys like talking about music we like. We didn't think that it would like actually impact one of these superstars, lives.
Yeah.
Like, so super, super awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So Megan and I had left there and made our way to the riverfront at
Yep.
that
So
point.
before you guys got there, the concert that I was talking about, before who we went there to see, Dasha was on stage at the riverfront. Dasha was the next woman of country in 2024. She's been making super headway. I dig her songs. You know, they're kind of more upbeat and poppy and stuff like that. But she actually put on a really good show. I don't know if I'd say it surprisingly, but two of the girls that we were with, Tasha and Sarah May, you know, they're not super fans of her and everything, but they both, after she got done, they were like, okay, she's actually pretty good. Like, engaged the crowd a ton. It was funny because, you know, I'm always a sweaty mess. And when we get down there to Nashville and when everybody else is a sweaty mess and they're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, this is the worst thing. And I was like, this is just a normal day for me. But she was
Welcome
on
to my
stage and she's
Wednesday.
up there. She's like, yeah, welcome to my Wednesday. But she was up on stage. She's like, oh my God, guys, I'm sweating my balls off up here. And she's wiping her face. And the one thing she did, she had a sweat towel. She, just like I always carry, she wiped her face and she was like, I should throw this at you guys. And then she was like, no, that'd be gross. She's like, wait, I can sell this. I'm keeping it. And I was like, that's funny right there.
Yeah.
So she
People
did
would have
put on a
fought
good,
over it, I'm sure.
oh God, yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, she put on a pretty good show for, you know, for the riverfront. So I am glad that I did get to see her. And like I said, with Sarah and Tasha there, who, you know, weren't their biggest fans and everything, and for them to be like, okay, yeah, she's pretty good, she's funny, she engaged, like, she put on a good show. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, they both said she sounded great too.
Yeah, she did.
And that's always a big thing for me, right? Is it's one thing to hear an artist on the radio or on Spotify or, you know, YouTube, doesn't matter, wherever you get it, right? It's always kind of refined and polished. And then it's like, I want you to sound, I
Like, I
don't,
hear you.
well, to some extent, right? Because I'd prefer the sound of vinyl over some of this super refined digital shit
Right.
that sounds perfect. So I'd like you to sound closer to that vinyl sound than
Right.
than like a stream or something. But I want you to, for me to be able to hear you and be like, okay, yep, this
Yep.
is who did this. The last thing I want to ever hear is you do your song and me think to myself, dude, I've seen a guy 6 beers deep do this at karaoke better than you just did. And,
Right.
I've seen that. I've seen
Right.
that more times than I care to. Um, so yeah, bummed that I missed that one. In a way, obviously, but super glad that I did.
Right.
Because that meet and greet with Megan Patrick was top notch.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
But then,
after
yeah, you guys made your way for the man of the hour. So we did a new artist spotlight on this guy quite some few months ago. We found him last year. Matt's done some recreations of the video, but we got to see Mr. Gavin Adcock at the riverfront. That was like, I had like three like must go, like I have to see these people, and he was one of them. So we got down. It was funny, like after Dasha got off stage, because we were kind of stage left, way over stage left for her. After she got done playing, that place like cleared out, which was really weird to me that there was that many people there. I think it was because it was full sun, no clouds in the sky. It was hot, like Dasha said, hot as balls. I think a lot of people just ran for cover. So
yeah,
we actually like pushed, and we were like center stage damn near, but everybody was just standing. It was nuts to butts. And we ended up pulling back out backstage left a little bit because we were hoping you guys were going to make it over. And I was like, they'll never find us down here.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
and
Mr. Gavin
I think that
Adcock came out, and
there's also, and I've been seeing more of it online that was actually pretty surprising to me, I guess. There's a lot of Adcock haters out there.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure.
uh, and seeing it in the comments on social
Yeah,
media, and was like, you guys listen to the same dude?
right.
Is your
I
hearing
think
okay?
I think that, so Gavin Adcock, he kind of made it big with like the TikToks and the videos and stuff like that. And this dude, I mean, he is country to the bone and just likes to frickin' party.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And
he's
so,
rowdy as fuck, and some people don't like that.
right. And when he comes out there spiking beer cans off the stage and, you know, drinking and stuff like that, which at CMA Fest, I think they probably told him to tone it down a little bit
Yeah.
compared to what I've seen in video as concerts and what you've seen.
Yeah.
Uh, which is more what you've seen is more spot on with what like I've watched him in video and stuff like that. And I was really hoping, but I was talking to another dude next to me that has seen him before, and I was like, and just seeing it, I was like, yeah, he's way less rowdy than normal. He did spike some cans and chug some beers and stuff like that, but I think they kind of told him to tone it down a little bit.
Well, I think that part of that would be that CMA Fest is obviously built as like family entertainment,
Right.
right? And so there's a lot of kids there,
True.
and
Especially at the free shows and stuff.
not everyone wants their kids to see the guy on stage chugging a fifth of Jack Daniels with his lead
Miller Lights
guitarist or
and
something.
right.
I feel like when you go to a show, you should know what you've signed up for.
Right. If you're
Um,
paying to get in for admission, then you know what to expect. But this was like a
well,
free
even
show and
even the
everybody.
free shows, like from my personal viewpoint, is everyone that I've seen at CMA Fest, I've known about beforehand.
Right.
Right? I'm not going and seeing somebody for the first time if it's at one of the CMA stages. Now, at some of the bars, sure, absolutely, you're going to run
Right.
into some people that maybe you didn't plan on seeing. But there's so much going on that like you're looking at your schedule and like, okay, I'm going to see this person, this person, this person. And so to me, you shouldn't be making plans to go see them unless you like them and you know what they're about anyway. And maybe
Right.
that's just me because that's how I do my CMA Fest.
Right.
Maybe other people do just willy nilly go see somebody at random, like not knowing their name or anything about them. But it
I
was
think what it might have been too is they might have heard him like on the radio and like, oh, his songs are really good, but they haven't seen the videos. And like that, what we were talking about at the riverfront, like I wouldn't have made a plan to go see Dasha, but I wanted to get there
true.
to see Adcock. So I don't know who played after him because we left. I think it was Hudson Westbrook was supposed to play after him.
Yeah,
So there might have been people that like, hey, this place is gonna go to capacity, so I got to get in there early,
true.
watch 3-4 artists that I might not know or maybe heard a song or two
Yeah,
just to see that one. So that could have been, what that was,
that's true.
but yeah, regardless, he said that he got a 30-minute set, and he said this is going to be the best 30 minutes of your CMA Fest. We're going to rock this whole time, and yeah, he put on a great show on the riverfront right there. So I was super stoked that we got to see that. So pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I
Well,
was happy.
and we're gonna have to speed through some of this because we're getting into it already, and we're not moving days real quick here on this
Are
one.
we still on the first day?
Yeah,
We're still on Thursday.
yeah, yeah. So we left
You're
from down.
welcome.
Yeah, we left from downtown. Went back to the house to regroup and kind of cool down and chill.
Cool
And
down.
next thing you know, I got this crazy some bitch uh, sending me a text message like, "Hey, sorry I haven't caught up with you guys yet while you've been in town. You want to come by the studio and we're just jamming me and the boys." And it was like, "We'll be there." So Jesse's doing sign language again. Any rate, Jake Slay.
Fuck you, Jake Slay. Just joking. I love you.
I mean,
If
I
you've seen
feel
the video, I said it on there.
right. So we loaded up and headed over to the studio. We got some really cool content that we'll be sharing, and Jake will be that he'll be sharing as well.
Yep.
Hung out with him for I don't know, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours
Couple
ish
hours, yeah.
at the
Yeah.
studio while they're jamming out, and probably the
Yeah, it was
highlight.
his first so Jake Slay, if you guys have watched the prior podcast, we've interviewed him, we've done content, we've seen him up in Petoskey. He's been on a couple of our lives. He's jammed in or
Yeah,
chimed in and then jammed with us. Jake's just an awesome dude. Love that guy to death. And Uncle Matt was little overwhelmed from the heat that day and was ready just to chill for the night. And I was loading up the girls with Dan, and we were going to go downtown to Broadway and see what we can get into. And then Jake hit Matt up and was like, "Hey, come on through." And we gave Matt kind of a hard time, like, "You can't say no. You have to go out tonight." So Matt
yeah.
took his PJs off and put his clothes back on, and we
I wasn't going to
we
say no to Jake. I would say no to go drinking down on Broadway, but I ain't saying no to
right,
Jake.
right.
So
So yeah, we got to go over there, but we seen Jake up in Petoskey, and it was his first full band show that he had ever played before. And now Jake has restructured and has a new band with him, and this was their first ever full band. He had practiced with a couple, like the drummer and some of the other guys, but it was their first full band practice. And we got to sit right in the studio while they were practicing and jamming out. Like, so cool, so
yeah,
cool.
tons of pictures and video that we'll be sharing over time with that. But
Yeah, of course, Tasha was with us, and she's a photographer, and she actually did pictures and video for Jake when he was up in Petoskey. And she's like, "Dang it, I should have brought my camera." And Jake's like, "Well, I got a camera sitting right here that I use." So Tasha picks it up, and she's doing that. You had May on the gimbal. I was taking video.
yeah,
Jake's already, like, we sent a bunch of clips to him, and he's already been putting those out and stuff. Seeing him raw in the studio,
yeah.
super cool.
Probably the highlight of the night though was we're getting ready to leave, and Jake asked me if I've ever played. I don't even remember what the hell he said the game was, and I'm like, "The fuck is that?" And he's like, "Well, we count to three, and then both of us say a number,
Between
and
1 and 10.
between 1 and 10, and if it's the same number, I get to kick you in the nuts."
Yep.
And I'm like, "No, I've never played that. It sounds like a terrible game."
Yeah, he said, yeah, it's like one of those jackass games or something like that.
And I'm like, "This is ridiculous." No. And everyone kind of like egging me on, and I'm like, "All right, fine. Let's do it." And so it's,
Just
you
like
know,
just like Jake made you come out for the night, he
right.
got you to play the game too.
So it's like 1, 2, 3. We both throw out numbers. They're different. And I'm
It
like,
was close though, wasn't it? Like 3 and 4.
"No, it was, we were off a ways."
Okay.
Uh, but, you know, as soon as I agreed to it, I was thinking to myself, this is the dumbest thing I've done in a long time. Right? And
I didn't
fortunately, it
even
was
want to
like,
go out tonight. I didn't want
fortunately, it
to
was like,
leave.
"Oh, whew, that was close." So I was like, "Jesse, you're up. You wanted to talk shit and push the issue for me to do it. You got to do it now." And
I
Jesse's
think
like,
I only said, like, if Jake Slay asked you to do something, you have to. But it was everybody else. It was Dan and everybody else that was egging you on, and then all of a sudden I got thrown into the mix.
"Yep." And so it was like, uh, Jesse agrees to do it. And so it's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, and both of them
9.
9. And so we've got some great video. And so what we did was Jake wasn't going to be the one doing the kicking. It was going to be Tasha. And
Yep.
and Jesse loved the idea of Tasha kicking me in the nuts. That didn't come to fruition because I lucked out. Tasha did get
Yet.
to kick Jesse in the nuts. And that was the highlight of the night for everyone. More so, I think, for Tasha than anybody.
No, I think she didn't want to do it, and I was like, "Hey, I'm like, I'm a man of my word. Like, I lost the bet. I'm ready to take the repercussions." She was like, "No, I don't want to do it," and I was like, "Just do it."
Yeah.
Luckily, she did. She took her cowboy boot off, and
I feel
she
like she should have left it on.
yeah, she said that she tried to hold back, and which I'm very glad that she did hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a sweet video out. Did we post it too,
I have
or did
not posted it yet. Jake posted it. I've got
Jake
my
posted
own
it?
video
Yep.
that we'll post as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I that's where the fuck you Jake Slay comes in, because I'm getting ready. I'm taking my bag off, my glasses. Like, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Come on, let's go. And Jake was filming, and he's like, I'm Jake Slay. Welcome to Jackass. And then I'm taking my stuff off, and I'm like, fuck you, Jake Slay. But yeah, she whacked me pretty good. Not as probably as hard as she could have. I was expecting to drop like a sack of potatoes, but she got me good. And there was like 15 people out there, all his band members and all you guys and everything. And so I kind of just went down like this and was like, all right, tough it out. And it hurt, but it didn't like really kick in. Luckily, when you guys turned the videos off, all of a sudden I just dropped to my knees, and I'm just like, oh mama. Luckily, hey, Jake, the whiskey helps.
right.
So yeah, luckily I had a fair amount of whiskey in me, some Pritchards and some Caribou Crossing.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah, fuck you, Jake Slay.
You know what? That might be a good place to end this one. I think we're gonna have to do a 3-part because we're already at like 45 minutes into this one, and we only got through day one.
Day one. Yeah.
So
Like I told you guys before, CMA Fest is just crazy. So much stuff to do and see. So big shout out to Jake and his band. We're super excited to, see what they're in the mix with, and trying to get them back up to Michigan to do a show. If we can figure that out and he can figure that out, then you guys will definitely hear about it, and we'll definitely be there. It don't matter, even if it's in the middle of the rut for bow hunting. That one might be one that I pull off of hunting for the night. Matt's thrown out many concerts during the month of October and beginning of November that I'm like, I don't know. It's rut for me. So
yeah.
But yeah, if we can figure that out with Jake, you guys will definitely know, and you guys definitely need to check that out. If anything, just check the video out and see how funny that was. Jake's an awesome dude, and you guys will love him. So
Absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up here, and we will catch you next time on
Y'all Need Music Podcast.
Later.
Out.